I couldn't imagine this would happen, but there's finally a new Budokai Tenkaichi game after 17 years. For many of us, these games were the ultimate Dragon Ball experience for years. While FighterZ is great, its 2D fighting style doesn't capture the essence of Dragon Ball like Budokai does. Sitting down to play Sparking Zero feels surreal, like being back in 2007. Despite the time, it feels like Tenkaichi 4. This is a good thing, though there's a small part of me that finds it a bit disappointing. If you've never played one of these titles, I don't blame you. They're old games. However, their combat system is unique, combining fast movements, teleportations, and spectacular attacks that, though chaotic, are incredibly satisfying. Sparking Zero stands out with a roster of more than 180 playable characters, spanning almost all key figures from Dragon Ball Z to the Tournament of Power arc and Dragon Ball Super, plus some from Dragon Ball GT and several movie villains. Though there are many versions of Goku, the roster includes lesser-known characters and fan favorites, which is a big win. One of the most exciting features is the ability to transform and perform the fusion dance during battles, just like in the previous games. While this mechanic can be unbalanced, it adds a lot of fun and fan service to the game. Even though some recent Dragon Ball titles like Xenoverse and Kakarot tried to mimic this style, Sparking Zero maintains its signature intensity. There were fears the system would be simplified for new players, but that didn't happen. There are many mechanics to master. Even with my experience in the series, it took me a bit of time at first. New players might take longer to adjust, but the game includes a basic tutorial to help them. My advice is to jump straight to the advanced tutorials, as the first few hours can be challenging. The game's main mode, Episode Battles, can be frustrating to learn due to its high difficulty from the start. This mode lets you follow different characters' stories through Dragon Ball events, but it's often tricky, especially when the story deviates from canon and forces you to win battles the character lost in the series. Lowering the difficulty doesn't help, as it locks secondary objectives. If you're looking for a challenge, this mode definitely delivers. In contrast, Custom Battles offers a more relaxed experience. This is where I had the most fun, playing bonus battles and creating my own dramatic showdowns. You can set up any fight you want, including dialogue and objectives. For example, you can make Babidi fight the Ginyu Force, adding a ton of replay value to the game. The game also includes an online spectator feature that allows players to connect and watch what others are doing, though its execution feels a bit shallow. Despite that, the game remains highly entertaining and encourages the use of the entire character roster, not just the main ones. Some missions are clever, like playing as Captain Ginyu and having to swap bodies with your opponent to win, or being a small Cyberman and self-destructing to defeat a stronger enemy. Though the creative options are limited, there are enough bonus fights to keep you entertained. Customization is somewhat limited, but this doesn't affect the overall fun of the game. The graphics are impressive. While they don't reach FighterZ's level, they maintain the anime style. The ultimate attacks stand out with incredible animations and environmental destruction. The battle arenas are dynamic and add a lot of character to the game, especially in city-based arenas where you can destroy everything you see. One of my favorite details is how the stadium spectators react to super attacks and scatter. The stages are varied, with uneven terrain and the ability to fight in the air or on water, making them more interesting than the typical fighting game stages. However, not everything is perfect. Most of the dialogue is delivered by static versions of the characters, which is understandable given the massive roster. While Sparking Zero isn't the best-looking Dragon Ball game, its overall presentation is solid. The menus are full of details and fun animations, though the background dialogue can become repetitive. For instance, Bulma repeats the same lines in the shop every few seconds, which gets annoying. As for game modes, we've already mentioned episode battles and custom battles. There are also regular battle options, both online and offline. The online mode is pretty basic, and if your opponent has a bad connection, the experience can become difficult. Personally, I don't think this game has a competitive future, as it's intentionally unbalanced, with characters like Goku being incredibly powerful, just like in the anime. The casual mode, on the other hand, is much more appealing, and I'm glad there are no ranked matches. I haven't played enough multiplayer to give a final verdict, but the split-screen mode is disappointing. While it's included, You can only play in one offline stage, the hyperbolic time chamber, which is just a white void. This is somewhat disappointing, though the mode is still fun. Tournaments are another classic element of the series, effectively implemented here. There are plenty of preset tournaments to join, both online and offline, as well as the option to create your own. My favorite is the Yamcha tournament, where the weakest characters compete to face everyone's favorite loser. Completing these tournaments offers valuable rewards, making them worth playing. As for unlocking characters, the system is rewarding and combines classic elements with modernity. Many characters are locked at first, but you can unlock them by playing episodes, completing special fights, or winning tournaments. You can also buy them in the shop with Zenny, the in-game currency. The game offers a decent amount of Zenny just by playing, so unlocking characters doesn't feel like a grind. Plus, there are some characters you can only get by summoning Super Shenron after collecting the Dragon Balls, a feature returning from older games. This game has a few minor disappointments, the biggest being the split-screen mode, but overall, I'm satisfied with how it turned out. There's really nothing comparable to this title, with its spectacular 1v1 battles and aerial combat. It might take some practice to get used to, but once you do, it's incredibly satisfying. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you'll probably love this game. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content. We upload new videos almost every day, so hit the notification bell to stay updated. And as always, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.